Welcome to Ready to Exhale, where we center Black women, their lived experiences, expertise, and rich stories. In each episode, we will gain a deeper understanding of what it takes to hold space for our own well-being. This is a brave space where you will be inspired to express your joy and live in the fullness of who you are. It's also a place where we are no longer waiting to exhale. So now, get ready to exhale and enjoy the show. We have Kyra Epps on our show today. She is an Image Award-winning television producer, best known for her work on OWN's hit show, Ayanla Fix My Life. She also starred in and executive produced HGTV's top stream show of 2023, Buying Back the Block. She is also a mompreneur, a wife, designer, and influencer focused on using her image to show other women the power of being the producer of their own story. Kyra is a Chicago native and currently resides in LA and Indianapolis. She is married to comedian Mike Epps, and they are raising their two beautiful children. She's also my walking partner and friend. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation that I had with the fabulous Kyra Epps. Kyra, it's so good to have you on Ready to Exhale, the podcast. Thank you for taking time to chat with me today.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. Very exciting.
I'm excited for my listeners to hear a little bit more about you and what you're about and what you're doing such amazing things in the world. And I've gotten to know you from just our encounters here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Mhm.
So I'd like you to just take a few moments and tell my listeners a little bit about you, the work that you do. Yeah, tell us about Kyra.
I went to school for broadcast journalism, thought I was going to be a news anchor, had a very different uh, plan for my life that I didn't even know about until I got my first job. And, you know, I, I had this plan to be on TV in front of the camera and actually met a wonderful woman who is still my mentor to this day. Her name is Candy Carter. She was the producer, one of the top producers at the Oprah show right before it ended. And I had created this project in Chicago, and I was like, you know what? I want to get this on television. I had a friend who was working at a really big agency in California when I was living in Chicago. And I was like, I have this really cool reality show I created. And she's like, oh my God, Kyra, this is actually really good. I would love to pass this around. She passed it around. It ended up in Candy Carter's lap. She called me in for a meeting and she was like, listen, and I think I was maybe 22 at the time and fresh out of college, really eager to be in the business. And, I really took a chance on myself at that point to kind of create my own platform. Like I didn't want to wait for the job opportunity to come. I kind of, put my boots on and got on the ground and did the work. And so Candy, I had a conversation with her and she was like, you're young and you're hungry and I need you on my team. And I was like, okay, what does this mean? And so we took that project that I had and made it all the way to Oxygen. Unfortunately, it didn't make it to air, but it was such a beautiful process to be that young and around someone who had been in the business for so long, who had so much experience and so much wisdom and knowledge. And I remember just, wanting her to just feed me. And I was just taking it all in. And I allowed myself to learn, I allowed myself to learn because one thing I will say is that when you're young, you still are very special. You are not new. I mean, you're not old to the system.
Mhm.
So you have this newness that a person who's been in the business 30, 40 years, they just don't have anymore. And so there was this thing we both needed from each other.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it was very special. And I say that to say, right after the show kind of, ended, if you will, she was like, I want you to come with me to LA. And I was like, are you kidding? And she's like, yeah, I have this show I just got. I'm going to be the executive producer. Would you like to come and be one of the producers? You're ready, you're great, you get it, you're trained. And I was like, yeah, hello, when do I
Mhm.
leave? And that was the beginning of my career, and in this business of behind the scenes television, it's all about word of mouth and, who knows who. And once you build your credits, you just keep going to the next show. So I started at Judge Mathis. I went to then work with Candy Carter on a talk show for BT. And after that, I did another show for WeTV. And it just kept growing and growing. And then I landed one of my biggest shows that I worked on where I was the senior producer was Iyanla Fix My Life. And boy, oh boy, did that change me as an individual, as a person, because you could work on anything. I could have worked on a cupcake show, and
Mhm.
a cupcake producer, but I worked on a show that really was about healing trauma for the African American community. And I learned so much from Iyanla and just her ways of working with people. Um, I built so much strength and knowledge there too. And again, I'm a student. I don't know how much people are into astrology, but
Mhm.
I'm very grounded. I'm very I'm very what is the word here? I just love to learn. Like I love to be
Mhm.
fed. I love to research things. I love it to be detailed. I love to, you know, have it all together in my mind. I'm very like
Mhm.
calculated, if you will. So I was just learning so much. And from there, I had kids. I got married, but I didn't stop the journey. I went from being behind the scenes to in front of the camera with the show my husband and I did for HGTV in Indianapolis. Um,
Yes.
it's just been a really great journey of uh of using my talents and what I know how to do well, and it's been working out good. And I'm very proud of myself
I
and the work
love
that I
that.
put in. And yeah, that's a little bit of my journey.
I love that. Just a little
Yeah,
bit. You've been doing a little
a
bit
little
of something.
bit.
I
Yeah.
love that you said um, early on in your career, you took a chance on yourself.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of belief, a lot of trust, a lot of guts, a lot of
Mm,
grace to
yeah.
really roll the dice on yourself. I don't know about you, but I in my sometimes get in my own head,
Mm,
limiting beliefs around, I'm not good enough or right that I've had to try to overcome. And I think
yeah.
it's really powerful that at such a young age you were like, listen, I'm going to take a chance on myself. I'm
Yeah.
going to go for it, right? And I think for those that are listening, like that's what you have to do. You just got to believe in yourself in spite of um, even your own critic, even your internal critic that tells you you can't or why you shouldn't or that you're not enough or good enough or all the things that roll in our heads. And so I love that you said you took a chance on yourself and that you also, what I kept hearing as you were sharing your journey is that you stayed open and that you
Mhm.
were willing to learn.
Absolutely, yes. Taking a chance on yourself, it's so much easier said than done. But when I think about my 20-year-old self, when I think about my 21-year-old self, I had something to prove. And
Mhm.
sometimes I still wish I had a part of that girl in me. I know she's there. I'm a little bit more settled in my life
Mhm.
now. And I try to pull to her when I need to. I try to pull
Mhm.
back to her and be like, okay, young Kyra, where's that energy to rise again? Because in life, what I've been learning through these decades is that you have to do the work. I
Mhm.
went from that girl who was very eager to become something to the girl who got the coffee, right? Where I had
Mhm.
to, I had to fall back to the person who had to put her head down and work really hard. You know, that building of me as a woman was the hunger, you know?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when you get to this level of earning, like, hey, I've earned this position, I've done the work, there is a confidence that comes with that. And sometimes I like to put myself in very uncomfortable situations because that is where I'm eager. That is where I thrive. That is where I'm hungry. That is where I have something to prove because I'm like, I haven't mastered it. I don't know it, and so I think that is where that comes from. It comes from being uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
so when you need that push of elevation, you have to take yourself and put yourself in positions to be around people that can push you out of
Mhm.
your comfort zone, if that all makes sense, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's where we grow. We grow when we're uncomfortable. And, it's easy to stay in our comfort zones.
yeah.
But
And sometimes those comfort zones can also be self-sabotaging,
totally, I agree.
Yeah, I told you this before we start recording. I am in such a space right now of rebuilding my systems, my belief systems. It is so powerful. And, I remember when I was like 27, 28, and right there I had a different belief system. I was building something different there. I was
Mhm.
on the verge of a relationship, and then I was becoming a mom and getting married, and I had to fix things. I started therapy at that age.
Mhm.
I wanted to be a great parent to a daughter and a son, and I was like, okay, there are things I have to change. I can't go off of what I've known my whole life because this is my life now. And decade later, I'm in this space again where I'm like, it's time to recharge what I believe in,
Mhm.
and re redefine because definitions of ourself and what we think things are super important. And I just want to redefine these things because now I'm teaching little people, right? I'm like,
Yes.
I am
Yes.
in charge of little people who are, one, I got to keep alive. Two, I'm building their core beliefs and their value system. So I'm like, I got to be ahead of the game when it comes to what I really stand on.
Mhm.
And I'm just in this phase right now of rebuilding that. And I think that truly starts with me and the energy I give out and what I push out. And so I'm like in this constant space right now and it feels super thick. I was talking
Mhm.
to a friend about this the other day. I'm like, I just
Mhm.
really like heavy,
Mhm.
like super spiritual. And she was like, allow yourself to feel that and
Mhm.
grow within that because this is such a time for you for your new development. And I feel my new development and I'm so excited for her. And I can even say
Yeah.
these things 'cause I can look back and see my younger her, and now I know one day, a decade from now, I'll look back at me today and say, wow, she did a lot of work. And,
Yeah.
we can see these versions of ourselves. So it's an exciting time.
It's so beautiful. I love what I'm hearing too is just this honoring of
Yes.
who you are and where you are, and also a looking back and honoring past versions of yourself. Like that is so powerful. And I'm also hearing the future you that you're looking to and
I
honoring
can see her.
her.
I can
Yeah.
see.
What a
Yeah,
beautiful practice. Like that.
thank
I
you.
mean, it really is beautiful, Kyra. And for our listeners, hey, if you're listening in, this what Kyra just described is a mental health, emotional well-being, self-care practice. Getting quiet, using your imagination to think about your past versions of you, honoring her, honoring them, honoring where you're at and then looking to the future and saying, I hear you and I see you too, and I want to make you proud. That is a practice that we can engage in to help
Mhm.
ground us in the now and also honor all parts of us and continue to grow and develop. I'd hear growth, growth, growth
Thank you.
in
And
talking to you.
what I will say to anyone who's listening is and I've done a lot of work through therapy and I have life coach. I have all the things I need. Trust me. Like if I need something, I'm not like, oh, I can figure this out on my own. I'm like, who's
Mm-hmm.
better at me than at this so they can provide something I need because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be solid for me. But I will say that when you are looking at different versions of yourself, this is key.
Mm-hmm.
Do not see anyone else with you. I don't want you to see
Mm-hmm.
your mother. I don't want you to see your father and what they did. I don't want you to see your cousin. I don't want you to see your best friend. I don't want you to see anybody but self at that point. Even when you're looking at
Mm-hmm.
age 60, 70, see her or him. And I think that's really important because when we start to see other people in our, oh, when I was 10, I remember when my mom did.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was 20 and my friend did.
Right.
Well, wait a minute, right? We have to, when I was 20, I remember being this without any distraction. And I think that is where you begin to really align with yourself and who you are. And that's when you can start growing because you completely diminish the victimization of
Mm-hmm.
anything or anyone that surrounded you at that time. And you get to manifest the glory of you without anybody else around you. I think that's the key.
Ooh, child. I think we just got a life coaching session.
Ah, look,
Coach
I've
Kyra.
been I've been in it too long.
Coach Kyra's in the house,
Oh,
y'all.
oh
She
my
just
God, my daughter
dropped,
is gonna be sick of me.
she just dropped some wisdom. That is powerful.
Thank
That
you.
is
Yeah,
so
thank you.
powerful and so key. I
Yeah, 'cause
completely
you
agree
get to
with
be
you.
responsible too, right? You get to
Yes.
really responsible no matter what happened to you. You get to say, okay,
Mhm.
what was I doing? Why did I do that? Where do I want to be? Regardless if those people are there or not, doing what they're doing or not. This is one of the things I'm kind of at right now. What I'm learning right now is that I am in a low capacity space for anything other than what I have going on.
Mhm.
I used to have so much capacity,
Sure.
to
Yeah.
fix everything and help, and I can do it. And I'm not there anymore. And I am bowing down to my younger self who was.
Wow.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you for being all that you were, and the hard part is now the people who were used to me having the capacity
Right.
are like, girl, what I gotta put this on
Yes.
you. And I'm just like, I'm
I'm not
sorry.
holding that. I'm not taking that.
And that is so difficult.
Yes. Because people
So,
don't, because we condition people in our
and
lives, right?
we condition people to pour. And
Mm-hmm.
I am the bridge. That's my life path. My life path is six. I definitely am a bridge. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely can see things always. I just want things, and also from my trauma of childhood, right? I just
Mm-hmm.
want things to be okay. So
Sure.
I'm like, we can work this out. Don't worry about it. I'm very that. And right now I am turning this corner, and I think that's where my internal struggle makes me feel so heavy because I'm like, I don't want to be that anymore. I'm very sorry to anyone who can't pour on me right now, but I don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
Um, I am here to support you, but I cannot help you.
Yeah, no, that's so powerful. And
Yeah.
also just the awareness around your capacity is powerful, right?
Yeah.
Just being aware that this is this season that I'm in, I can't carry you too. Like I can't do that anymore.
But
And
I
for
am
my own, yeah, for my own overall well-being, I have to say
here.
no to you and I have to say no to this. And right, it's protecting your own capacity.
It's protecting. And it's also based on my own traumas and me working through those traumas as an adult, as a
Mm,
children and a husband. I have a lot of responsibility. I run a lot of different ships, and I'm like, what I had to slow down and say, what do you need? Why are you not giving yourself 100% in this area or that area? And I was like, okay,
mhm,
this is where I need to release and replenish. And
Yeah.
I found that it was, the capacities for others was something that I loved. And now I'm like, I still love that. And I still want to be a supportive person. And you can still call me and I'm still here. The door is open, but
Hmm.
I no longer can internalize um anybody else's problems, victimizations. I don't have the capacity right now. Maybe one day I will again, but right now my season
Yeah.
is different, and that is so hard to set those boundaries, but then every day gets easier and easier. And I've
Hmm.
been through that before,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
decade ago where it was a different boundary, but now this is a self boundary and it's important to have. And I hear me
Yeah.
teaching my daughter these things too, because
Hmm.
she goes through little small fry things at school. And I'm like, well, what is your boundary, love? How are you going to tell her that or tell him that? Or what will you say? And we go through things and I'm like, wow,
Yeah. Powerful.
able to deliver this to a 5-year-old. It's like,
Yeah.
God, it's so
Yeah.
important.
So
And
important.
I'll say this one thing too. I'm like talking because girl, I could do this all day about this
I
stuff.
love it. I
But
love it. Talk on, man. That's what we do on the podcast. Let's talk. Let's chat.
But I remember my life coach, I might have been like 5 years ago. She's like, okay, so Kyra, what are your non-negotiables? And I was like, well, and I could not,
Wow.
right? And I was like, oh, okay. And you go through these calls and then you get off and you're like, oh, okay. Right then and there, I was like, I need to strongly develop a value system and I got to do it now,
Hmm. Hmm.
and no disrespect or anything to anyone who's raised me because I've had wonderful women and
Hmm.
men around me. But uh, there were a lot of things that were missed,
Sure.
in not a terrible way because I had a lot of great things that I gained. Um,
Hmm.
we don't get everything, as
Hmm.
many resources as I have and two-parent household, and my kids won't get everything either, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And the goal is for them to be able to still be students and find their own people that will help them and teach them as well, because I don't have everything.
Sure.
So I say that to say I've been vigorously working on beliefs and what I am not negotiating and what I strongly believe in my core. And yeah, so
Wow, I'm so proud of
we are.
you.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
so proud of you. And this is so beautiful. And our lives and this conversation, I hope, is a mirror for people to see themselves and
Mhm.
say, like, hey, I need to develop my value system.
Yeah.
And maybe it's changed. I need to revisit it. I need to look at it again. I need to think about what are my non-negotiables, right? What do I need to say no to? What boundaries do I need to set? And
Mhm.
and and going back to that. And so I'm hoping that this beautiful conversation and your level of vulnerability becomes a mirror for those that are listening to say, hey, in this stage of my life, I need to do the same, right? I need to take another look. I need to reevaluate. I need to be open to growth and learning and deepening. And so it's so beautiful to hear you talk about this. I think as a coach, I work with clients about really prioritizing themselves and what does it look like to center themselves in their lives. And it's
Mhm.
hard for my clients to hear that because I'm only coaching Black women. And
Mm.
so a lot of times we're putting other people, other things in the center of our lives. And it feels really selfish. And
Mm.
sometimes it feels like wrong to be centering myself. But we
Mm.
really should be. And that's what I'm hearing from you, Kyra, is that's what you're doing. It doesn't make us selfish. It puts us in the center to say, these are my value systems. This is what I believe. This is who I am. And now I can give from that place. I can
Mm.
be a mother from that place, a wife, an executive, or whatever listeners, whatever your life looks like, put yourself in the center. And that's what I'm hearing from you. And it's really a beautiful practice. It's hard to do.
It's so hard, right? It because
Hmm.
it's your belief system.
As Black women, we have everyday stressors, and those stressors are compounded by systemic racism. This stress weathers our mental and emotional health. It's imperative to move this stress out of our bodies so we can live healthier and happier lives. Exhale app is a resource to partner with you in your well-being journey. To download, go to the App Store and Google Play. Now, let's get back to our episode.
I had to also put myself in a leader position, right?
Mhm.
And another thing too, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, that was a transition in itself.
Sure.
Like becoming a real woman was like, I remember because I don't live in my whole family's in Chicago.
Mhm.
And we kind of live bi-coastal. So I live in LA sometimes. I live in Indiana throughout the summer. And I had two kids under two, so I'm changing 14 diapers a day, and my husband's still on the road. And I didn't believe in nannies.
Mhm.
I was like, I got this, and I didn't have a
Mhm.
nanny, and I was with my grandmother and my mom,
Mhm. Mhm.
living this life of my past,
Mhm.
right? And I was struggling.
Mhm.
Couldn't sleep. I would have one kid nursing for 22 months, no pacifier, no bottle. I couldn't,
Wow.
one kid was up, one kid was down. And if you're a mom and you ever had two under two, you know
Mhm.
it's like it's the
Mhm.
worst possible
Rough.
thing to go through. And
Yeah.
I was really frustrated. And I remember, this is so interesting, but I just wanted my mommy. And I was like,
Mhm.
I need my mother in my mind, right? Like I
Yeah.
wanted to be mothered again. I wanted to,
Mhm.
I don't know how to ask for help because I'm so independent, but I needed something and I expected people to understand and just know. And I was frustrated because they didn't. And it was just this conglomerate of
Mhm.
like things.
Mhm.
And I then, that's where I started work on myself, especially
Yeah.
when I had my daughter. I was working through therapy and something clicked.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you are the queen now.
Okay, Queen.
Are you are the mother, you are the leader. How are you going to do this? I was like, okay, what do you need? I don't care what you were taught. I don't care what you had. I don't care how your childhood, what do you need today? And
Mm.
once I started to become the head, right? Like
Mhm.
I took the position,
Yeah.
I became the mother I needed.
Come
So
on
that
now.
I really did. It's ooh,
Powerful.
it is intense. I wish I could draw pictures so people can see it because it's so intense. Like I had to,
Mhm.
it is a literal step of position that you have to take, right?
Mm.
I was
Mhm.
no longer blaming my mom for anything. I no longer felt any way. I was just like, listen. And I had to say to self, listen, self, it is your time to rise. If you are going to stay stuck in a position of expectations, you're still in girl phase, right?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
it's time to be in woman phase. And that's when I really, I was like, listen, this is my bed. I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna lay in it, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
do it well. And once I say I'm gonna do it well, then I
It's
put it
over. It's a wrap.
there. I was like, okay. And then and you see how that transition from 5 years ago is leading me up till today. Well, what
Sure.
does doing it well mean? And so now I'm at a point of, becoming a well-oiled machine in
Yeah.
this household in my life and what I want. And and the pride of who I am as a woman.
It's so good. I'm also hearing this deep relationship that you have between you and you.
Heck yeah,
You
that
know,
is.
looking at yourself being like, listen, we ain't no, this ain't little girl stage no more. It's time to
No.
like, you gotta be a woman. So I'm hearing this internal relationship that you have between you and you. And that is the most powerful relationship that we will ever develop is
Yeah.
the relationship between us and us, right? It's what you said, we're all we got. Like, I got to take care of me. I got to coach me. I have to inspire my own self, right? Like I have to turn toward myself and have these conversations that really I'm hearing moved you in powerful, dynamic ways to be who and what you are.
And I remember something so powerful when I got married. One of my husband's, his friend, he's an older guy. He might have been in his 70s or so. He was at our wedding and he told me, he was like, listen, you are the soul. You will always be the soul of this marriage, and Michael is going to be the heart. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean? I don't understand. And he didn't explain it. And I was in therapy just talking about like, because it resonated so much with me. It was like, it was one of those things people tell you, and you
Mm-hmm.
get it, like it just stuck. And
Mm-hmm.
I later figured out what it meant, like I am the light. I'm the
Yeah.
feeling. I am the music. My husband is the blood. He keeps it pumping, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the strength, and um, he's the mobility. But I am literally, if the house is dim, it's on me. If the bright
Mm-hmm.
lighted and the music is pumping, and it's smooth jazz, it's R&B, it's hip hop, whatever it is, I'm the
Yeah.
tone of that.
You're
And
the
so
soul.
yeah, I took that position and I took that very seriously. And I try to always, because of course we all have our days and stuff, but I try to align myself with being the light,
Yeah.
especially in my four walls.
Yeah.
Um, but
You
it's
are
all
that light. You
it's
are
that.
that light. You're that light beyond the four walls. I mean, the first time I reached out to you, you were like, "Well, come to this dinner I'm having. Just come." I was like, "She don't know me. She doesn't know me." And you just, were such a light and was so just inviting. And I think that there was something about your light and my light that just connected. And so you are such a bright light, and
Thank
I appreciate who you are. I appreciate the friendship that we have, and just who you are, and not just what you do, right? But who you are at your core is a beautiful human, and I know that that has come with a lot of work. We
Yeah,
gotta do the work. The trauma, the things that happen to us is not our fault,
right.
but the healing is our responsibility,
Yes, it
right?
is.
We have to take responsibility and we have to do the work to heal. We all do.
Mhm.
And so I see that in you. I see that. Yeah, you're such a beautiful light. So thank you for being who you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. What does self-care look like for you these days? Like, how has it evolved? You talked about, your career, being a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, um, being a mama. Like, what
Yeah.
does what does self-care look like?
Um, the first thing that comes to mind, because we can think about spa dates and all of that stuff, right? But
Right.
I I am very um right now needing to be with nature. Like I need to
Mm,
walk. I need to put my body in the sun. I need to put my face toward the sun. I need to smell fresh air. Um, I need to see water. Like I'm
mhm,
very, and when I don't, I do feel I just feel like I missed the beat. My body is out of
mhm,
alignment. So self-care right now is really getting outside and moving my body.
Mhm. I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, and I work out, but it's something about taking a walk.
Hmm.
And it's something about, being childlike, like having all the responsibilities, but getting to be like just my younger self of like 5, 6, 7, 10 years old. Mom, I'm going outside and
Yeah.
okay, we'll come back by this time and being wild and free and running through grass and smelling it and um, you know, being in the sun all day and coming home sweaty and hair crazy. It's like there is
Hmm.
so in the experience of nature
Yeah.
that I think adults we miss because things get really gray and traffic and smoke and
Yeah.
cars all day and electronics. And it's something about being outside that really helps me to be like, oh, wait a minute, I'm a little person in this world that has big responsibility and there's no noise other than my thoughts and the birds and it's just beautiful. So that's one of the things that I do. I walk with you.
Yeah, we walked together when you're in Indiana.
And it
You
started
walk
raining. I was
fast.
like, look at the rain.
It started raining on us, and then we were walking in the rain together.
So romantic,
Our friendship was budding
right? And
in
you
the
see,
walk on the rain.
and we didn't cry about it. You get to see life through these,
It
like,
was
it
beautiful.
brings you back, right? It's like that little thing that's like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, that's so good. I've been revisiting my younger self through being outside and play. That's
That's what,
something I'm working on. I went on a walk at one of our national state parks here in Indiana, and I got on a swing and
yeah,
was swinging, and that what you're talking about, that childlike, that freedom.
yeah,
I allowed myself, I gave myself permission to be childlike in that moment.
yeah,
And I went down a slide and we went hiking and we were just outdoors. And I've been trying to honor that part of myself and allow that part of myself to come out, like to enjoy, to be free. So I
yeah.
love that you said that because I'm doing the same thing, just getting outside and trying
Very
to,
powerful for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
connect back to that part of myself.
yeah. It's
Hmm.
definitely a soul feeder for sure. It helps me a lot.
Hmm. What kind of legacy are you hoping to leave behind, Kyra?
Um, that's such a loaded question. That's so loaded. The legacy. You know, this is today. Tomorrow might be different.
Sure.
But I would what comes to mind is just your energy. You
Mm,
know, I had a conversation with my 5-year-old, my daughter, and my daughter is a lot like my husband. She is just herself. She's free. She's just fun
mm,
and I am very contained, right? Like
mhm,
you gotta know me to get my jokes and
mhm.
at that capacity. And I I have to tell her sometimes because she's so emotional. And I'm not emotional, but she's so emotional. And she's been like this, I want to say she's been teaching me so much
Mm,
about my emotions and myself and who I am as a person and how to deal with my own emotions.
mhm,
And I have to, it's so sad. I hate this part about being a parent is that my kids live in this bubble with us at home, right?
mhm.
There's this world out there.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, I gotta tell, even like, hey guys, you gotta stay close to mom, stay by my hip because, don't want to say this, but somebody could take you, and it's
Right.
like,
Right.
yes, like take us where? And I'm like,
Right. Right.
so, I gotta get down to, and I'm a very like honest person, so I end up telling the truth, right? And
Sure.
very layman's terms, and I'm like, I hate this part, but it is so real to have to say these things to my children so
Mhm.
that they are aware, right? Like
Right.
you're
Right.
so sheltered and protected at home, but this is real life,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember having this conversation with my daughter, like, yes, I am always going to be here for you emotionally, and you can lean on me. And I had to learn this too with my daughter because this was so hard for me in the beginning because she would just cry and I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up a trauma that I was hiding from my childhood where I didn't really have the chance to cry. I had to get with the program, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so a little girl who was always emotional was like, "What is the problem? You got everything." And because I didn't have a chance to be her. And so
Right.
I had to sit with it and say, "Okay, you can cry with me." And when I tell you, even me saying that now was like,
Mm.
ah,
Yeah. Wow.
and it's very powerful
It is.
to see that. And it takes an eye. That's why doing work is so important because you miss messages and cues
Yeah.
about life if you don't get to know yourself. You have to
Mm-hmm.
get to know yourself to be like, why is it bothering me that a 3-year-old is so emotional?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. So now what should I do when she cries? I can't run, right?
Right.
Maybe I should give her a hug. Maybe I should hold her. Maybe I should say, well, what do we, maybe I should get to know her, right?
Get
And so,
curious. Be curious.
and
Yeah.
sometimes just allowing her to be. And so anyway, so I have this
Mm-hmm.
conversation with my daughter, and I said, um, I know that mom allows you to be this way. I said, but it's very important when you go outside this house to understand your energy. I was like, in order to get energy that you want back to you, you have to push it out.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta give out good energy. And she's just like, what is energy? And I was just like, the way you move, the things you say, the smile on your face. I'm like, energy is so important. And I am in this space right now. We're thinking about my legacy. I just want my kids to be very energized about themselves and their happiness and their values and what they believe in. And, that's what's coming to mind right now.
Yeah. So
Kindness.
good.
That's where I am. It's just like teaching them how
Yeah.
to love themselves and have great energy and to be reciprocal,
Mm.
and just to be all around just kind people, just
Good
kind people.
people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when we do love ourselves, then we're able to put out that energy, you
Yeah.
know?
It takes time. So my
Mm-hmm.
encouragement to anyone who is looking to get a little bit more self-aware and in tune with themselves is to start with the step one. Get some help, work with someone, get to know yourself a little bit better, get to understand your traumas a little bit better, get to understand the calculations and the equation of yourself. Like when I did this and when I feel that, it makes me do X, Y, and Z. Why?
Right. Right. Why?
Start to why yourself into understanding who you are. And then whatever you don't agree with, want to see in the next decade, you got to start working on that today. And that means, at that point, you could be releasing people, gaining people, um,
Mhm.
can be trying new things, aligning yourself with new ideas. All of those things come from that first step.
Yeah, that first step is really just facing yourself,
It's facing.
looking at yourself and
Yes.
not from a place of judgment, but
No,
from a place of curiosity.
absolutely.
Like, I'm curious about me, the way I'm wired, why I respond the way
Yes.
I do, why I move the way I do, why my energy is like this. It really is curiosity. And then, like what you said, Kyra, is taking that next step and bringing in maybe an outside source to really help you navigate that
Yeah.
curiosity, right?
And right now I'm in a space where I'm like, this is something that my older self is going to have to acknowledge too and thank and
That's
praise.
right. Because you're
So,
putting in the work now too.
Yeah, and I say just don't skip the steps, do the work. It could be
Mhm.
hard. Keep going. It's not going to happen overnight. But I promise you, if you go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 and so on and so forth, the 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 prize at the end of that is so special, right?
Mhm.
Everybody around you is going to benefit from it.
Mhm.
And,
It's beautiful
yeah,
wisdom.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you
And,
for that. That's some good wisdom. Um, just,
and
yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm still a baby out here.
Same. And I'm also in the middle of growing, in the middle of putting in the work, in the middle of turning toward yourself and growing. Get outside, listeners, put your face in the sun, get on a swing set, maybe, like really honor play and enjoy life too in the midst of all the work that you're putting in, because that is part of the work, right? Caring for yourself and holding space for yourself as well. Kyra, thank you so much for being on the show. This was a lovely conversation. I feel like we could do a part two, so I might have to
Right?
have you back on another
Oh
season.
God, I'm there.
Thank you so much for being on
Thank
the
you.
show. Okay,
And I
I'm
just
gonna.
want to say that I am so inspired by you and what you're doing, especially for Black women. I am just all hats off to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for thinking of me. And it was such an alignment with how I was feeling at the moment. And, nothing happens by coincidence. So I just want to say thank you. Um, for just being a wonderful woman and mom and wife and all around support to women in general.
Mm,
So I appreciate you and your work and what you're doing, and more power to you, more accolades, more love and peace, everything that you need as well, because
mm,
things don't happen without people who really care,
mm.
and yeah, so I'm appreciative. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, listeners, um, continue to follow Ready to Exhale on all your favorite streaming platforms. And yeah, thank you for tuning in today. Exhale is a social movement prioritizing the overall well being of Black women. You can join our movement by subscribing to this podcast and downloading Exhale app, and by continuing to prioritize yourself and your well being. Keep taking deep inhales and long exhales. Until next time.